Okay, good morning. So today's Friday. I think I'm one of the only few Muppets in New Zealand that's actually gone to work today. Yesterday was Waitangi Day, so our national day. So it's a public holiday. And then today, being Friday, normal work day. And yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm one of the only few people that didn't take today off. But that's okay, I don't mind. I like what I do, so, happy days, happy to be there. Anyway, over the Christmas, New Year period and even into January, I ordered quite a number of books based on their titles and what I thought that, they would be about. And I started one a couple of weeks ago, which was cool, but I haven't really gravitated towards it yet. So whilst I'm reading it, it's not, pulling me down a rabbit hole. So I picked up another one, and I won't do two simultaneously. I'm just going to do the one that actually piques my interest the most at the moment. So I picked up another one yesterday, and it's titled How to Motivate People and Why It Doesn't Work. So I was like, which is always, the title in itself is pretty interesting. So last night I got a reading, probably the first whatever pages, but anyway, I'll tell you what, if anyone knows Alice in Wonderland, it absolutely dragged me down the rabbit hole. It opened up by talking about WD-40, the product we all probably know and potentially have used at some point. It got talking about WD-40 as a company, and it was just giving a bit of a background, who they are, what they do, what they're about, their values, morals, all that good thing. It made a statement in, I can't remember the first number of pages, but anyway, it made a statement in the pages that I was reading that WD-40 as a company made a decision that in bad times, as well as good, obviously, maybe less than good, but anyway, in bad times, they never ever laid off any staff, any employees, never. And it starts to talk about how giving, your people job security and those good things, etc. It talked about how it went from being I think it was something like $300 million company to $2.5 billion. So some phenomenal growth. And it got me thinking, and also the intent for the website and these videos is to talk not just about AI, technology and thoughtfulness, but leadership as well. And, what did I say? I think it's the third time I said this. It got me thinking, as most things do, as you know now, and thinking about and I've said this before on videos, the changing face of leadership, the changing face of business, and I guess as I was diving further into that, I started to feel sorry, actually. Not that anyone needs my pity, don't get me wrong, but I started to feel sorry for the old guard, as we will name them. Now, it can't be very easy to leave your comfort zone when, from the 60s through to the 90s, what you've done has been successful for you. It's helped, house you, clothe you, feed you, and all of that good things. But also, I guess, not just for the businesses, but for the shareholders as well, the stakeholders. It can't be easy to have this tidal wave of change approached, or here, however you want to view it. And then to be also hearing that your employees are expecting different, your customers are expecting different, and the whole social aspect of being a citizen, whether you're an actual citizen or a corporate citizen, in society today. Can't be easy to hear that model, that recipe for success that has worked is now being rewritten. So that must be a pretty freaky experience. I don't know. But I think for me personally, deliberately, as I've obviously, you've got to practice what you preach, obviously. I think it's really important. Like, I've got a meeting with my team next Tuesday, and I remember the first time I decided to shake up the way that I did things. It was April 2021 on the something floor in a apartment in Sydney. We were on holiday, well, not holiday, we were doing some stuff in Sydney. Part of it was a holiday, I guess, during the COVID period. So we left New Zealand with the bubble, the COVID bubble, still intact. So once you leave the country, you can't get back unless you had a managed isolation and quarantine facility pre-booked. So we left New Zealand on the basis that the bubble, as in the free travel between the two countries, would be opening soon. So I remember thinking when we took off, at that point in time, we couldn't come back. So I was like, oh shit, it was a bit of a freaky moment. But anyway, it was April 2021 when my first kind of epiphany, if you will, came about, changing up how I worked with my team and leadership in general. And then I think the other good thing is it seems to happen on moments that I'll remember. The second one came the 3rd or 4th of February. And then I got to, I guess, work backwards, and I started to think about changing it up with my own team and how I work. And then yesterday when I picked up that book and I started to read about, motivating people and why that doesn't work, and got to learning about the WD-40 company and what they did or don't do, as the case may be. It really got me diving deep into it must be pretty darn scary to have to, or know that you need to move beyond your comfort zone. And I wonder if we're seeing this last ditch effort, reversing sensor, I wonder if we're seeing this last ditch effort by companies to really hang on to the model that they know has worked, and does work, don't get me wrong. I was reading through my doom scrolling moment this morning while I was having coffee. I was reading around a particular US tech company that has rolled back, and that's the word that was used, rolled back its protections for its Black and LGBTQIA employees. I'm wondering, it can't be easy to need to do that in the face of what you know as a human being to be right. The right thing to do is, it shouldn't really matter, right? But it's not a perfect world. But to have to make that decision to actually roll those back because of political, social, I don't know, whatever reasons they chose to, But I think everyone has a very long memory, and it may not be today, but it means that your authenticity is significantly declined, or degraded, sorry, not declined, degraded. So, being out of your comfort zone when it comes to wanting to do things differently and be different is a blessing, and I think although we all probably get a little bit uncomfortable being outside of our comfort zone, there are probably those that can do it a little bit more easily than others, and willing to give things a try, and that whole vulnerability aspect. But imagine being in a position where you can't or won't step outside of that comfort zone because you just can't. Like, to be shackled to a way of being must be pretty darn boring, actually. There's no other word I can describe other than boring, or lack of fulfillment in life. So yeah, just an interesting way of putting it, I guess. And look, I haven't actually got through the book yet. It's my intention to get through it, in a good way. I want to get through it fast, not because I want to finish it, but because I really am hungry to consume what's in it. So I don't normally post prior to reading a book, but yeah, as I said, the first couple of pages captivated me. Got to thinking, particularly I was I was sparked by reading that this particular tech company has rolled back its protections, and just thinking about, the changing face of business and leadership in general. It's such an interesting time right now, and I have to admit, although parts of it make me nervous, it's more exciting than it is nervous. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of this book has. I have no doubt you'll hear about it on more videos. But yeah, here's to stepping outside your comfort zone. Have a good one.